Hello everyone, very warm welcome to all of you on the platform of FT Plus. Today in this series we are going to discuss about the places in news for various reason and for various thing happened worldwide, and these places are in news, and in this series we are going to have a coverage of the entire places which was in current affair news in last one calendar year. So let's start the important places, and this will cover the map part, this will cover the adjoining area, and also why this place is in news. So let's begin with the first place in the news, and that is what Paktika province, which is in Afghanistan. Paktika province, it is situated near the Durand line. Durand line is a line between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and here it is in news because of the cross-border militant activity where Pakistan performed air strike, and that's why it is in news. So here you will find Pakistan and Afghanistan border, where you will find this Paktika province which is in news because of Pakistan air strike. Another place which is in news is Baltic Sea. Let's come to the Baltic Sea. So if you see the coastline of Baltic Sea, we need to be very careful about coastline because you may have question from the coastline. So this is the Baltic Sea. You will find that there is Sweden, which is making a coast with Baltic Sea. Then we have Germany, we have Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia and Finland, which is making the coastline of Baltic Sea. So be clear about the coastline, the country which is around this Baltic Sea. And this Baltic Sea has very low salinity also, 2 to 11 parts per thousand. In the topic of salinity we have discussed about why this Baltic Sea has so much of low salinity, 2 to 11 parts per thousand. One reason I am going to give you is melting of glacier. Another reason, which is what the river which is draining over here, you need to find out in your atlas. And do remember, when we go for this completion of this places in news, you must follow your atlas. Don't only watch the video, try to locate it on your atlas and surround the area. You may have a question from there. So Baltic Sea, the surrounding countries are important, and for one more reason, and that is what Baltic Sea in terms of salinity we have discussed in the classroom. Okay, the next is Georgia. Another, it is important for geopolitical region. Georgia was a erstwhile part of USSR, now it is separated, and strategic importance in Caucasus. So again the map is not visible, now it is visible. Now try to find out the borders. So it is bordering with Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan and Russia, and towards the west it is bordered by the Black Sea region. So Georgia, it is in news, so do take care of Georgia. And the next is Darien Gap, which is in Panama and between Panama and Colombia. Darien Gap, which is in between Panama and Colombia, it is in part of equatorial region. So lot of rainfall as well as dense forest is making so dense region and swampy region over there that it is almost impossible to reach from Central America to what you can say this South America because of this swampy region as well as dense forest. And for that, Darien Gap is known for its most dangerous route for illegal migration to US. So illegal migration is taking place from Latin America, or you can say from South American country to USA through this route, and it is quite covered with the dense forest. So Darien Gap is in news, and it is near Panama Isthmus. So Panama Canal is also there, and almost it seems that North America and South America is connected, but The territorial route is quite hard because of Amazon forest over there and here Darien Gap. That's why it is one of the dangerous route for illegal migration. Okay. Gulf of Tonkin. Gulf of Tonkin is situated in South China Sea. Try to see the border. If you see it, it is near Vietnam. Okay. Vietnam and China, in between China and Vietnam there is what you can say territorial war also. South China Sea is already in news because of the 9-degree dash line, Spratly Island, Scarborough Shola, Paracel Island as well as Natuna Island, and you know the South China Sea problem, and this is what one of more problem of South China Sea, Gulf of Tonkin, which is actually Vietnam's territorial claim over it, and it is also linked to the Vietnam War disputed maritime region. Fine, this is Gulf of Tonkin. Gulf of Tonkin. Let's come to some environmental news, like environmental as well as geographical news, and that is Mount Kilauea volcano. It is in Hawaii Island. You know this Hawaii is a hot spot. Hawaii Island is an example of interplate volcano. So this is a hot spot and Kilauea just erupted, and it is what the largest volcanic eruption, not highest, largest volcanic eruption in the world, and that is what Mount Kilauea. And one of the most active volcano emit water vapor, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. Along with it there is a magma, very thin magma erupts out, and it's a slow, or you can say silent eruption. Being central type of eruption, it is a silent eruption, and magma is so thin that it gets solidified in air and in a long glassy thread and solidified in air, and it is called as Pele's hair over here. So Mount Kilauea, it is in Hawaii Island, the 51st state of United States of America. Next one is Santorini Island, which is situated in Greece. It is part of the subduction zone of African plate with Eurasian plate. Basically this is what destructive plate margin created due to subduction of Tethys. This Mediterranean is nothing but the remnant of Tethys Sea. It is subducting below Eurasian plate. Lot of magma formation takes place, and this magma comes out in form of volcanic eruption, as well as because of tectonic activity there is lot of seismicity also. So this Santorini Island of Greece is what in news because of the earthquake. Part of Aegean volcanic arc, site of historic eruption. So you will find so many volcanic eruptions over here, like you will find nearby eruptions near Italy. You will find this Mount Vulcan, Mount Etna, Mount Stromboli. That is also the part of Mediterranean island arc. Fine. So Mount Santorini, this island in Greece, is known for eruption this year. Then Mount Dukono, it is in Indonesia. Mount Dukono, try to see Mount Dukono, volcanic eruption, part of Pacific Ring of Fire, ongoing seismic activity. Basically this is part of Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire and the meeting point of mid-continental belt. So it's a meeting point of both Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire and mid-continental belt. You know Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire is what? Subduction zone of Pacific with Eurasian plate, with North American plate, with Australian plate, and indeed there is a divergent plate boundary between Pacific and Nazca and Cocos. But yes, South American plate is making boundary with Nazca and Cocos, and that is destructive plate boundary, which continues to be there in south up to Mount Sidley, and that is what the Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire. And this Circum-Pacific Ring of Fire is going to merge with mid-continental belt, where there is Indonesia archipelago. This Indonesian archipelago is what? Because of convergence of Australian plate with Eurasian plate. Fine. So there is a meeting point of circum-Pacific ring of fire and mid-continental belt around Indonesia, and this is the reason you will find so many volcanic island over there and so many volcanic eruption. One of the eruption is Mount Dukono, and that is in news because of the eruption recently. Next one is Mount Etna, which is in Italy. There is a Sicily island in Italy, okay, where the Mount Etna is situated. Again, it is also the part of mid continental belt, and this mid continental belt is a convergent plate boundary between Eurasian plate and African plate. Here the Mediterranean Sea, which is remnant of Tethys Sea, Tethys plate is still undergoing subduction, lot of magma formation, and this magma formation give rise to continuous volcanic activity in this zone, Mediterranean volcano. One of the Mount Etna is what one of the furious mountain. In 1968, Mount Etna has a eruption, and this eruption was one of the great eruption in the history of volcanic eruption on the earth. So Mount Etna, right now it is in news because of volcanic activity. Europe highest active volcano located on the tectonic plate boundary, and that is in Sicily island. This is what volcanic island also. So Mount Etna. Let's come to the Caspian Sea. Why it is in news? It is in news because of global warming. It is in news because of a reduction in the area of water in Caspian Sea, and Caspian Sea is in news. So the country around Caspian Sea should be in your mind, and try to see it is from Russia. We will start from Russia and clockwise. Here it is Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Azerbaijan. So do remember, Azerbaijan is making border, but Armenia is not making border, and here you can have a confusion. Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan is making border, Uzbekistan is not making border with कैस्पियन सी. तो ध्यान रखिएगा बच्चे, कैस्पियन सी से उज्बेकिस्तान बॉर्डर नहीं बनाता, और ऑप्शन में यू मे हैव दिस तुर्कमेनिस्तान, उज्बेकिस्तान एंड कजाकिस्तान. सो बी कीन अबाउट दिस एंड try to resolve this means surrounding countries, because they can put question and you they can challenge you by asking this कि is तुर्कमेनिस्तान making border with Caspian Sea. तो आपको लगेगा कि हाँ बनाता है, लेकिन ध्यान से देखिएगा. Uzbekistan making border with it? Answer is no, because Uzbekistan is somewhere away from the coast. Here Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan is there. So be clear about Caspian Sea, and you will find some river draining in Caspian Sea, and Caspian Sea is the largest lake on the earth, although it is a brackish water or saline water lake, but salinity is not so enormous because of river drain. One is Ural, another one is Volga. ये दो रिवर हैं यूरोप की, काफ़ी बड़ी रिवर है. वोल्गा इज़ द लार्जेस्ट रिवर ऑफ यूरोप, एंड द सेकेंड वन इज़ व्हाट यूराल, विच इज़ ड्रेनिंग ओवर हियर, एंड दैट्स वाई द कैस्पियन सी बीइंग लैंडलॉक्ड. लैंडलॉक्ड सी का मतलब होता है सैलिनिटी बहुत ज़्यादा होना, लेकिन ये सैलिनिटी ज़्यादा नहीं होती, और उसका कारण है रिवर ड्रेन. लगातार फ्रेश वाटर एडिशन हो रहा है बच्चे, इसलिए इसकी सैलिनिटी ज़्यादा नहीं है. कैस्पियन सी इज़ द लार्जेस्ट सी, is the largest lake in the world. Do remember area wise, याद रखिएगा. अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ largest fresh water lake, तो उत्तर है area wise it is Lake Superior. अगर पूछूँ मैं आपसे largest lake volume wise, तो it is Lake Baikal. याद रखिएगा, Lake Baikal has amount of water which is almost 20% amount of fresh water amount of the world. तो Lake Baikal अकेले पूरी दुनिया के जो फ्रेश वाटर लेक है या फ्रेश वाटर जो है उसका 20% रखती है. इट इज़ द डीपेस्ट लेक. हाँ, लेक सुपीरियर एरिया में ज़्यादा है. कैस्पियन सी को जब हम कंपेयर करते हैं लेक में, तो एरिया वाइज इट इज़ लार्जेस्ट, बट इट इज़ नॉट फ्रेश वाटर. याद रखिएगा. सो कैस्पियन सी सराउंडिंग कंट्री, and it's the largest lake. Why? It has lower salinity, I talked about. So please do take care of it. Lesotho, it is in news because of India's gesture, this humble gesture of India. We have donated rice to this landlocked country. This is landlocked country in South Africa. You can see it. It is Lesotho. and struggle with food security. That's why it is in news. So it is in news because of our endeavor, and it is also important because it is a landlocked country in South Africa. Okay. Next is what El Salvador. This is part of Central America. Entire Central America is important. In the class also I have discussed this importance because this El Salvador and Belize, these are the two countries of North America which is having coastline with either one of the ocean. So in case of Belize, you will find Atlantic Ocean has a coast, and in case of El Salvador, you have Pacific Ocean as a coast. Fine. But rest of the country, whether it is Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, or Mexico, or United States of America and Canada, they are sharing coast with Atlantic Ocean as well as Pacific Ocean. So these are two countries which is important. El Salvador sharing coast with Pacific, and Belize sharing coast with Atlantic Ocean. Fine. So do remember, and for this particular region, why it is in news, agreement with USA, first country to legalize Bitcoin, cooperation on deportation policy. So cooperation of deportation policy and legalize Bitcoin, that is what El Salvador जल्दी से अमीर बनने की चाहत है, इसलिए बिटकॉइन को लीगलाइज किया है एल सल्वाडोर ने, इसलिए न्यूज़ में था. आप याद करेंगे जोग्राफिकल पर्सपेक्टिव भी, इट इज़ शेयरिंग बॉर्डर विथ कोस्ट लाइन विथ पैसिफिक, unique country of North America, only country which is sharing border with Pacific, and Belize is only country sharing border with Atlantic. Otherwise all the country of North America as well as Central America sharing border with both. So this is what El Salvador. Next one is Cook Island, which is situated in Pacific east to Australia, part of Oceania. So this Cook Island, it was in news because of geopolitics, and it's a strategic partnership with China, expanding diplomatic tie, self-governing but associated with New Zealand. So associated with New Zealand, but it's a self-governing body also, and it has a strategic tie with China. China expanding its fleet in Pacific through Cook Island. So this is important in that perspective. Next one is Greenland, that is Denmark, which is the largest island in the world. And why it is in news? Because of the US interest over here, and it is part of Arctic, and beneath this ice sheet there is lot of natural resource in form of natural gas as well as petroleum is deposited over here. So largest island, ice covered, strategically significant and rich in nutrient. That's why USA is paying interest to acquire it from Denmark. So it's a dense territory. This is what Greenland island. One thing more I would like to make you understand, Greenland न्यूज़ में है तो ग्रीनलैंड में सबसे बड़ा, दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा नेशनल पार्क है बच्चे, नॉर्थ ग्रीनलैंड नेशनल पार्क, which is the largest national park in the world and the southernmost national park also. Next one is Nauru. Nauru is the part of Oceania, and Nauru, Pacific Ocean, citizenship for relocation plan. Low lying area है बच्चे, it's a island, and that's why due to global warming, rise of sea level is going to threat this Nauru, and there is a relocation planning over here कि यहाँ के लोगों को हटाया जाए, citizen for relocation plan, that is Nauru. So तुवालू के बाद नाउरू का नंबर, और नाउरू के बाद ऐसे ही नंबर आते जाएंगे क्योंकि ग्लोबल वार्मिंग से सी लेवल राइज हो रहा है, and that is going to submerge these territories. So there is a large migration taking place in this regard. Next one is this Turkey. पहले तुर्की नाम था, अब टर्की या तुर्की हो चुका है, इसलिए ये न्यूज़ में था. ऑफिशियली रिकॉग्नाइज्ड एज तुर्की बाय यूनाइटेड नेशन, फॉर्मली नोन एज टर्की. टर्की इज व्हाट? इट इज बिटवीन Europe and Asia. So you'll find this Asia Minor near Istanbul, and you will find there is a Black Sea, and here you will find a sea, Marmara Sea, and you will find there is a strait between Black Sea, Marmara Sea, that is Bosphorus Strait, which is what the narrowest strait in the world and almost divided by 2 kilometers. So do remember Turkey, this Istanbul, that is Thomas, and the strait over there. Fine. So political and geopolitical region, we have this Karakala, Pakistan. This is in Uzbekistan. Protest in Uzbekistan over government plan to limit regional autonomy over here. This is Karakal, Pakistan region, which is in news. So do remember these places, and for this year they are very important, and next will be covered in the next part. Thank you. Stay tuned with you FT Plus. Thank you very much.